Now, let's look at Islam. How does Islam provide us the medicine, the solution against depression, against despair, against unhappiness? Well, if I were to ask you to summarize Islam in one sentence, how would you do it? I don't want you to think about it. I don't want you to answer out loud, but think about it in your mind. If I were to ask you to summarize Islam in one sentence, how would you do that? Many of you may say, I don't need one sentence, I'll just give you one word, peace. This is a very common answer. A lot of people say Islam means peace, but actually it's not the case. If Islam is peace, Allah tells us that He tests us, that He tests us with difficulties. So how is Islam peace when we have so many difficulties? And Allah tells us He will bring us difficulties. What I would do, if I was asked this question, I would summarize it in 10 words. Very simply, I would say that Islam is attempting to surrender to God in order to achieve peace. That's my definition. Attempting, so striving, trying, struggling to surrender, which is the literal definition of Islam. Islam doesn't mean peace, it means surrender or submission. So I would say that Islam is attempting to surrender to God, to Allah, in order to achieve peace. But how do we do this? This is the biggest challenge. How do we surrender? How do we achieve that peace? Is it through rituals only? Because we know Islam is made up of rituals. They're made up of practices, of beliefs. And there's something that me and my wife, we call hocus pocus Islam. Now try to follow me as I explain to you what this means. Because many people believe that if you do the rituals of Islam, that you will achieve Islam, that you will achieve that surrender and that peace by doing the rituals. And when I say rituals, I mean prayer, the fasting, the different dhikrs that we do, the reading of the Quran, these rituals that we do, these habits. But here's the problem. Many people do these rituals, and it's just that. It's just rituals. It's something that's superficial. They're outward actions that have no effect on our inward state, our hearts. And so we know somebody, me and my wife, who do these rituals, somebody in the community. We've been to their house, and we observe their behavior. And every time we see him, every time we see him either in public or we go over to his house, he's always telling us, you should make this dhikr and that dhikr. Do this prayer and that prayer at this time and at that time. And he's very conscious of it. Giving us this book of du'as. And he's very much into what we've labeled as hocus pocus Islam. And that is this idea that you say certain things at certain times of the day, or if you walk into your home, you say a dua, you walk into the masjid, you say a dua, you start your car, you say a dua, you make certain dhikrs, and you think that's Islam. But here's the problem. And don't get me wrong, that is part of Islam. But the problem is that you have people who do these things, but that's all they do. But they don't pray. Or they have horrible manners and horrible behavior, and they treat people horribly. And so my point in sharing you this story is that this man, who we thought was very good and righteous and benevolent and sharing with us this information, the story came later that he got a divorce from his wife, which is fine, divorces happen. But why did he get the divorce? Because he was verbally abusive towards his wife and his children. And the stories came out. Now Allah knows best. We were getting the story from one side. But we know that this is the reality. That there are many Muslims who do the dhikrs, who do the certain rituals, but yet they have horrible character. They don't have that peace. They don't have that true surrender. And so my question is, going back to the point of how do we achieve this peace? We don't do it through the rituals only. It goes far above and beyond that.